Welcome back to Keys to Product Creation Success. Now in this video I'm going to be talking about 5 things to make your WSO or your product stand out. And this is going to be a little bit of a different video. It's going to be kind of brief, but it's very important because marketers are always looking for a way to differentiate their product from the other ones on the same subject in the niche. And so these are going to be the things that you can be doing, and many of them you should be doing on a continual basis, so that your product will always be unique and will always be valuable to your customer, adding to the conversation instead of repeating what others are saying. Now, the number one thing that you can do when you are creating products, or even if the person you're having this outsourced, is to make sure that you are doing outside reading. And that can be difficult in a culture where most of us are really doing a lot within our 24 hours. And there scarcely is time to do a lot of reading. And that's why most marketers do reading of blogs and do all of their reading online. Avoid that. Okay? You need to make time to read. And there are lots of times when you are either in transit on your way someplace. Maybe you're in your car. Maybe you're at the gym. Maybe you're on a bike. Maybe you are walking someplace. Take that opportunity to use something like audible.com and really do outside reading into theory and books. And not that theory and books really are going to change what it is that you do, and it's going to make you make you more effective as a marketer. What it's going to do is going to add to the body of the content. It's going to help you to make connections when you are actually doing your explanation, or even when you're putting things together. So make sure that you are into doing outside reading, whether you're listening to it by audiobook. Many of you live in countries and in places where there are public libraries. You should have your own library pass or card if that's what your country has, because this is a case where many resources are available to us for free. You're not necessarily going to want to go out and buy every business book that's in the top 10 bestseller list. However, many of us can go to our public library, get those books, and read them and benefit from them. There's a website called Business Insider, and this is really more of a popular blog than anything else. But again, it does have interesting points from time to time. And then there's the mainstay, long-standing Wall Street Journal. And it's going to have not necessarily marketing news, but it's going to have all the news about business that you need to know, things that you need to be aware of. Now, one thing that you're going to be able to do to make your WSO stand out, to make it memorable, to make the customer experience one that other people are going to talk about, is making sure that where your customer gets their product is as memorable as you can make it. Remember, when you are delivering a digital product, you don't have a store. Okay, so the only memory that people have is when they go to your members area. And so people like to be able to talk about a purchase they made. They like to be proud of the purchase they make. And so your members area should communicate that. You want to do more than the basics. You want to make people feel good about their purchase. You want people to feel as if when they go here, they have a pleasant experience. It's important because again, not all marketers do it, and it's a way of getting your customer to feel as if when they get your product or they get a product from you, they're really getting something that's going to be high quality, high standard. And so you are going to benefit from this when you're looking to sell a second and a third product, because your products are always going to be perceived to be graphically designed, organized well, and something that's going to benefit your buyer in ways other than the content, right? The content, you expect that to be good, okay, as a buyer, but go the extra mile and make sure that the members area or the download page is organized well, and it gives the buyer a great experience. Make sure you have great support, even if you have to outsource it. Get yourself a help desk. Make sure that your customers, and again, I realize you could probably keep track of support by email, right? That's possible, but you are going to forget things. You are going to miss emails. Email's going to go to spam. You want to give customers a place where they can go and put their support requests in. They know they're going to be taken care of. Respond promptly, right? When they have a support request, get in and do what is necessary to make sure that they're getting what they paid for, right? Quickly. Okay, unannounced bonus. And this is something that marketers do, veteran marketers do. Okay, your customer should be surprised. Make sure you surprise your customer, not with something bad. Make sure you surprise them with something good. Give them something in every product that you do. Make sure they get something they weren't expecting that's good, right? And make a big deal of it. Okay, make sure that they see it on the sales page so it doesn't get lost, doesn't get buried. Again, this builds goodwill with your customer and makes you stand out. Again, a positive element of customer experience. And then lastly, this is probably a little more common in products now, but again, it is one of those things that will make you stand out. Make a personal appearance. Let people get to know you. Let people see you. Now, obviously, you can't talk to all your customers personally, but you can get them on a webinar where you're introducing what it is that you have, where you're introducing who it is you are, where you're introducing, what it is for you to be a marketer and giving them a product or service that's going to benefit them. Let them see you, make a personal appearance in a webinar or teleseminar so that, again, people can make that personal connection with you the next time that you have a sale. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back to Keys to Product Creation Success. And in this video, we're going to be talking about the 17 resources you should have for a digital products business. Now, many marketers start out on a shoestring budget. And internet marketing is forgiving. You can create a product, you can actually generate cash because you can generate value for people without having to have a lot of fancy tools and without having to have lots of fancy equipment. However, that does not mean that you need to stay there, and it doesn't mean that you don't need to invest in your business. Internet marketing is a business like any other, and if you're going to be in it for the long term and you want to generate long-term profits, you don't want to spend years using workarounds in your business. And so these are things that we're going to be talking about. They're things that you need to be looking to invest in. So one of the ways to think about this is that this list of things, if you don't have them at any particular time, take a portion of your profits every single time you have a product launch and invest in getting these things. Of course, you need to have your own domain name. You can actually launch a product without having a domain, but you should have a domain name where you have all of your products, where you have a presence for your business. And typically a domain name is probably only going to be $10 at most. Sometimes it might go up to as high as $15, but a domain name is pretty affordable. Definitely, you might not have to start out with one, but you want to get one when you can. Of course, your website needs to have hosting. You want to make sure that domain is hosted on a place where you're paying for the hosting, because you need to be in control of the hosting. If you're going to build a list, you need an autoresponder, something like Aweber or GetResponse, or maybe another autoresponder of choice. This is what you will need to do in order to build a list without spamming people, right? You need to have a website, right? So what we're talking about when we talk about a website, most marketers use a website builder called WordPress because it is flexible. Other marketers use other systems that are available to you. It really is a personal choice, but you want to make sure you have something that you can get to and change, and that you can add to as your business increases or changes. Now, this is going to be pretty important, and it's not going to be obvious at the outset, and it may not be something that you get right away, but you do need to have a way to deliver your product and a place to deliver your product from. Delivering your product from the same place where your site is hosted is not always going to be the wise thing. Sometimes you're going to have files that are going to have fairly large, they'll be fairly large in size, and you don't want to have your customer coming to your site where you have shared hosting and then running into a case where they can't get the file, not because the file isn't available, but because your hosting isn't sufficient. Right? Product delivery hosting are sites like Amazon S3 and other sites where you don't pay a lot for the hosting, but your customer is only going to be going there when they want to get your product. You need to have a place where you can upload those products, especially ones where you're going to have software. You don't want that process, part of your process, to fail. A delivery system. And this basically means that you need to have a way of being able to get your customer to either a members area or a place or a download page, and it needs to be secure. right? So we talked about in the last section, it needs to look good and it needs to be secure so that your customer can get your product, but at the same time your product won't be floating around out on the black hat forums, right? So a delivery system is something that you need to invest in. And again, you may not have to do that right away, but you do need to invest in something, a membership site or a place. A lot of marketers in the past use Rapid Action Profits. Some use sites like InstaBuilder or Wishlist Member or Digital Access Pass. But you do need to invest in a delivery system, and you want to get one that's going to always work. There will always be lots of new products that come down the pike, but you want to make sure that you get the one that works, that is reliable, right? So even if you have to pay a little more and you don't pay a launch price, get one that's going to work when your customer goes to it. A video player. YouTube is a great way to host your videos. However, as you move up in price, it's probably not necessarily going to always be appropriate for you to use YouTube. Sometimes you're going to want to use a player where you're going to host the video and you're going to deliver that video through a video player. That's going to require some special third-party software. And again, it's not something that you have to get started, but you do want to invest in it because, again, YouTube is free. And you are subject to whatever rule changes they make. You want to be able to deliver video to your customers the way you want to. Okay? You need a webinar or a broadcast system. There are systems like Webinar Fusion Pro. And you want to have these systems so that you can deliver a webinar at the point whenever you want to, again, to provide more value to your customer. You need video screen recording software like Camtasia. Okay, because you're going to need to make customer service videos. You're going to need to create videos to show people how to navigate your site. You're going to need to make customer service. You're going to need to make videos to sell things, right? And screen capture software is pretty much standard. It's probably should be closer to the top of the list than some of these other things, because you are going to need to create videos where you don't need to appear in it, but you need to communicate to your customer things that they need to know and they need to do that are happening on your computer screen. You need Camtasia. ScreenFlow is another one. Obviously, you can get some of the cheaper versions that do some of what these programs do, but in the long run, Camtasia or ScreenFlow, eventually, as a marketer, you are going to need it. An HTML editing program. So you need a software. There are free programs available like InView.com, Composer.com. All of those are HTML editors. You can get a paid version such as Dreamweaver with Adobe, but again, you do need to have one. And if the free versions don't do what you need them to do, you are going to have to upgrade to something like Dreamweaver. A graphics editor. So you need to be able to use something like Photoshop. That is the industry standard. However, there are substitute programs like Paint.net and GIMP until you can afford it. But eventually, if you're going to have someone working for you, you're going to put together more complex graphics. Photoshop is the standard for a graphics editor. You need a mic, right, and a headset. So just standard practice for an internet marketer. You can get a USB mic. You can get a headset. It's really a preference. If you're doing a lot of live broadcasting, sometimes you want to get a headset because of the latency involved with the USB. However, the newer that your computer system is, that latency is not going to be a problem with the USB mic. Right, so make sure that you have a mic or a headset, and you really can't even record a course without them. So that's the minimum you are going to need to do. So you're probably going to need to have that even before you start recording your course. Don't use your computer's speaker microphone where you don't have a controlled area to speak into. Don't use that to create a product. Make sure you get a microphone or a headset in the microphone. When you need a webcam and some lighting, right? Because you want to make a personal appearance in your video or in your webinar. Again, doesn't have to be there at the beginning, but again, you need to be able to make connections with your customer. And you can do that by making sure that you have a webcam. Many laptops kind of have it coming bundled, right? So you're probably going to find that that you're going to have that coming with your PC. If you don't, there are great webcams available made by Logitech. That use minimal computer resources and then shoot in high definition. Okay, you're going to need high-speed internet. Now, again, I realize that that kind of goes without saying, or the highest speed that you can possibly get. You're going to need to upload things. You're going to need to download things. You're going to need to be able to do webinars. And the only way you're going to be able to do those things is for you to have the high-speed internet. And so, whatever you can pay for, as soon as you can afford it, you need to get it. Right? Now, that doesn't mean that you have to have the most expensive just to have it. But the more that you're going to be doing, especially broadcasting, you want to have a fast upload speed. Okay, and we talked about screen capture software, pretty much the same thing as video screen recording software. And then you want to make sure that you have a PLR membership, and that is for the primary purpose for you to be able to get and deliver bonuses. So make sure you have a source of resale rights content for you to be able to deliver unique content and software bonuses. Okay, and then lastly, typically you're going to need to have a graphic subscription of some kind in order to create good graphics for your products, good graphics for your services, and for the sales process, and even for your product design. Graphics are necessary, and you can buy a graphic subscription from places like iStock Photo. Those are places that are going to be fairly expensive. You can get them a little more affordable at places like clipart.com and graphicstock.com. Okay, so those are the 17 resources you should have for your digital products business. I realize that was a lot. There are links in this video for you to visit so you can take a look at some of these things. But again, the way to look at this is if you don't have them, look to make it part of your budget to invest in them as soon as you have the cash flow to be able to do it. Maybe do it one at a time as you do each particular launch. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video. Welcome back to Keys to Product Creation Success. And in this video, we are going to be talking about the tips for reselling a PLR course. Now, obviously, you have PLR to this course, and what you want to do is you want to resell it. So let's talk about some of the things that you'll need to think about as you resell a PLR course. Now, what you want to do in every case when you have PLR is you want to take it and make it unique in some way. Now, in some cases, some of you might be using the PLR to bolster a product that you already have, and that's a great way to use PLR. But some of you may want to take this course and then turn it into something that you want to be unique, that you can put your stamp on it, that you can make it yours. And you can always do that by adding extras. Mind maps is a great way to do that. Sales videos, giving your customer the opportunity to sell the product. Doing done for you webinars, PDF guides. Always adding to the course in ways to make sure that you repurpose the content and for you to give the customer every possible medium that they might want or they might need in order to get a great experience. So always make the course unique in some way in terms of your offering. Give your course a USP, and that's one way to think about this. What is it that you can add to a PLR course that people cannot get elsewhere? Now, some of you are going to want to have a sales page created, and it's going to be a good idea to have that sales page outsourced. You want to make sure that the look and feel of your page makes people want to buy, and sometimes that is not necessarily going to run in the same it's going to run in the same way that a person who actually creates a product can actually create the graphics to go with it. There are people that you're going to be competing against who already have their pages outsourced. You want to make sure that at the very least that your page is going to be what people expect, and you can do that by either having that sales page design outsourced, or you can use a page builder like Optimize Press. Okay, you want to make your bonuses prominent on a squeeze page. So in other words, when your customer when your customer actually comes to get your product, make sure that they can get the bonuses and make sure that they have a squeeze page where you can either opt in or they can make a decision about buying the product. Okay, make sure that when you actually deliver the product to them, this kind of goes back to one of the points we made earlier about one of the profit leaks. Add more products on the download page. You know you didn't create this product, but that doesn't mean you can't have other products available. If you have other PLR products, get them up and running, get a buy button on them, and get links to them onto the download page. It is a way for you to generate extra cash on every PLR launch or every product launch. Okay, and then provide unique bonuses, right? So don't provide the same bonuses that were given to you. Provide something that is, again, uniquely yours and that you know will matter to your buyers. And of course, you want to change the title of the course if possible. So don't use the very same title as it was when you bought the PLR package. Definitely change the title to something else. Don't use the same domain. Change the look if possible. And again, this might be beyond you if you're not a graphics person or you don't want to outsource it. But certainly, if you can, outsource the graphics and then change the title of the course. Okay. Typically, a PLR product is going to come with source files, and you want to do that and make sure that you have your title, your stamp on that course. Okay, so with that, thanks, and I will see you in another video.